So in this video, I'm going to add in camera shake wherever there are impacts or explosions. Now Animate has a built-in camera tool, but I find it's pretty imprecise and you can't use the arrow keys to move it, so I like to use something called a VCam. You'll find this VCam file among the files included with the course. Inside you'll find a VCam, which is just a symbol with a layer with a 1920 by 1080 frame drawn on it, and a frame with some ActionScript on it. If you have this on your stage, when you publish your project, it's going to show what's within this frame. Be aware, if you want to use this tool, just make sure when you create your project, the platform type is set to ActionScript 3.0. I actually have a video on YouTube about VCams. You can copy the code out of the description there if you want. But you don't need to make your own because you can use the one from this file. I'm just going to copy the VCam, and back in our stick figure project, I'll make a new layer above everything called VCam and place the VCam symbol onto it. Then it's too big for our 720p stage, so I'll scale it down to match the stage dimensions and center it. So with this, I could do things like zoom in on part of the action and pan the camera around to look at just what's within the VCam. But what we're using it for is an easy way to make the whole screen shake. We're going to do that by shaking the VCam symbol. Let's start by adding a tiny bit of shake when the stick figure symbol falls. The way I do it is select a bunch of frames, press F6 to make keyframes, and then move the VCam the opposite direction of the force that's causing the shake. So he's going down. That means I'll use the arrow keys to move the VCam up. Holding Shift up will move it 10 pixels at a time, but just up moves it 1 pixel at a time. So I just moved it 10 pixels up. On the next frame, I'll move it 10 pixels down. Then next frame, I'll do 5 pixels up. Then next frame 5 pixels down, next frame 3 pixels up, next frame 3 pixels down, then up 2, then down 2, and if we play you can see a very small shake in the VCam symbol. Now when the VCam goes past the border of your artwork, it's just going to show white along the edge, which we don't want. So we need to make a background larger than the stage so we have some buffer. I'm going to hide the VCam. Then on the background layer, I'll draw in a shape and make it the same gray as the UI. Make sure the alpha is up and no stroke. And draw a rectangle. Okay, now when we do shake, that gray will show instead of white. Next, let's find another place to put shake, like this hammer swing. Since that would be a downward shake too, let's just select the previous keys, hold Alt and drag them to copy them over here as well. Then for the next hit, we want the shake to be horizontal. So we'll make our keyframes. And the same way as before, alternate between moving the keyframe left or right by progressively less and less each time it switches direction. And next there's an explosion. Let's just copy the frames from the last shake. Same for this one. And then we have a bunch of explosions in a row overlapping, so I'm just going to mark out the start of each one with an empty keyframe and add in the shake frames in a second. Now let's copy the frames here to line up with the start of the first explosion. Then copy the frames so the shake restarts at the beginning point of each subsequent explosion and doesn't get to finish completely until the last one. And that's all it takes. That was real easy. Next, we need to add in sound effects. We'll do that in the next video.